Boom. David Carroll says it. And here we are. Pat is driving.
Hi.
Kid's driving. Evening, Sam. Good morning, Gee Whiz 5150 in Sydney. And everybody else who is joining us for another potentially fantastic, potentially failed episode of Cameron Flask. Ben, you look very...
failed.
No, I don't mean that. You look very, very dad with the mug today. I don't think that's a bad thing. Welcome. How are you, sir?
I'm all right, thanks. Yeah, how are you two?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
You look like it's either been a day or you're just it's 11 or midnight or whatever time
it has been a day and it is midnight. So yeah, those two things combined, it has been a hell of a day. Yeah, all of a sudden, masses and masses of work coming in to organise what's now looking like quite a big trip to the UK in a couple of weeks, which is great. That's really good. And yeah, just chasing a lot of stuff, a few Zoom meetings, and then I did a dubbing thing. I've done a little bit of voice work this year. So when there's a Czech production that needs an English language voiceover and this was actually the first time I've done dubbing. So that was quite interesting. So you're then watching the screen with the Czech actor, and then you're having to then try and match that exactly. So you start speaking when he does, you stop when he does. Now, the Czech language and the English language, it doesn't obviously match up in terms of length. So you're then having to rewrite the script or change your pacing to get it to match. It was quite interesting, but quite mentally taxing.
You could be like the guy on Czech television, and for the movies, we go to a movie theater, and I could hear your voice potentially.
Well, this is how it goes. So the whole thing in the Czech Republic has been for years and years and years that they've really excelled at dubbing, and now they're really trying to get away from it in a lot of areas because it would be very useful for people's English language skills if they were listening to things in their native language and then looking at subtitles instead. But it's always been this real sort of pride in this standard of Czech dubbing. And what it is you get an actor that always plays the same American actor. So there is a Czech Tom Hanks. There is a Czech Brad Pitt. The same actors always voice. Yeah, and they're quite big actors here. It's not like that's all they do. They're actors in their own right. Yeah. But that same actor here will always voice that same person.
Okay, so I want to pick. Yeah, who are you going to be? Who are you?
If you can say.
This was some guy from some PR agency in Pardubice. So
no, but if you had the choice, oh, can you do me a favor and scratch your mic? It would definitely have your mic, right? No, that's what I thought. You're coming in through the room, through the laptop. That's why it sounds so live.
Okay, I might have to go out and come back in again then.
Really?
Will it not let me change my preferences?
You can't do that on the browser. Will it let you?
If you scroll down and there's a little cogwheel next to your audio levels.
What audio levels? I can't see audio levels.
Down where you see like a little picture of yourself.
Oh yeah.
And speaking of, while he's doing that, Jem, you told me to ask you about audio or something. Bring up audio.
I did, but I do want to make sure that all three of us, if we were VO actors in the Czech Republic, I want to know what actor you would like to be the voice for. Does that make sense? Like if you had to pick an actor, that's are you back? Go ahead, scratch that mic.
I think so.
Yeah, there we go. All right, so what actor would you choose? Hey, Juris,
Me?
Nice to have you. Yeah, you. Either one of you. Who would you want?
I'd probably do like Bruce Willis.
Okay, I like it.
Few lines. Not doing a lot of movies these days. Probably not a good financial move, but
okay. Bruce Willis. Okay. How about you?
I'd go Morgan Freeman, I think.
Wow, that's a stretch, but okay. Because you just want to be the voice of God, I guess.
Yeah, but he speaks very slowly. I think it would be quite easy to match it.
Okay. I'm going to say
British voice over. Yeah.
I'm going to say Steve Buscemi. or Bill Murray. I'd like to do Bill Murray because that would be fun. And you'd go drinking after every single session you do. You'd be like, I just did Bill Murray for 3 hours. I'm gonna go have some drinks. All right, cool. All right.
Actually, I take it back. Christopher Walken.
There you go.
Oh yeah. Okay.
All right. Watch the watch. Okay. So I took your advice from the last episode because I need to do some things. First of all, let's just call a spade, okay? This thing right here, the Juice Linked Riggy, the 333.
It's a relic.
It's a relic, but it was amazing in its day. It really was. But you can't get these. Maybe a couple of used ones on eBay. 3 inputs, great little device, pretty dang good preamps. I bought all the other ones you recommended. The Saramonic one. I bought the old the iRig pre, which was basically made out of paper clips and Scotch tape. Saramonic was much better.
Clips.
Yeah, and then I got the other one, Kozar, or whatever the name of the other company is. I got 3 of them. Every single one of them. Comica. Absolute garbage. I mean, like, I put a phone near them.
All of them.
They were just crappy. I mean, they were okay, but they weren't great. I got this one, which is the Beach Tech, the Micro Plus. It only has 1 input. I have to tell you, super quiet. Worth $229. We're using it on the production now. I'm going to, but I tested it out with a couple of mics this weekend. And I'd say if you're going single system sound into a mirrorless camera right now, that's the one to get. It's worth the $229. 100%. That is no question.
Well, that's under $300. That's the one.
Can't touch it. I wish it had 2 inputs. That was my only thing. They might have one with 2.
They make larger ones. Well, so get this, for those who are just curious about it. First of all, should we get some drinks going?
Yes. Okay, what are you having, Caleb?
Yes.
You're up first.
All right, doing...
Hold on.
805.
Oh, yeah, we know that. Santa Barbara, baby, representing Little Phil, the 805.
Little Phil.
Santa Barbara
area
area
tape
code.
A little whiteboard right next to the mat box. Or in the,
you look amazing
teleprompter.
today. Okay, good. You. So you're having that. What about you, Ben? What are you having today?
Again, Caleb, loving the packaging. Nice can.
Thank you.
This, I think I've had a variant of this before, and this is the Ricknoff. I'm having beer tonight because I haven't got any wine in. This is this completely unpasteurized, unfiltered, made up the road.
Yes.
Really, really good. Recyclable bottles, so you get these, you take them back. Everything is like that here in terms of beer. You always pay a deposit on the bottle. You get it when you come back. It's got the Grolsch style popper, which is always great, so you can put it back in the fridge. And this is their 10. Ooh, got a little bit of that.
Ooh, spirited fella.
There we go.
A 10 is a 4%, which is normally, I find them a little tasters. This one's fantastic.
Really? You're going to poopy good tomorrow.
Yeah.
I don't know why I said that, but it just looks by the color of it. There's going to be you're going to poopy good tomorrow.
Yes.
That's it. There you go.
When I saw the bottle, I was like, that looks milky the way I like it.
It does. It looks delicious.
It's fairly clear, actually, that one.
All right. Nah, it still looks good, though. Yeah, but still looks delicious. I'm in. Okay, good. I'm not doing anything fancy today, but I am having scotch, so I'm going in for the decantery, whatever you call this thing. It's just a Glenlivet 12, so that's what I'm drinking.
Nice.
Old Standby, and needed a little scotch. I've got my little Edredor pitcher, and I'm just going to put come on, kids.
Very dainty.
There we go. Oh, yeah, very dainty. Hey, cheers to everybody here.
Cheers, gentlemen, and everyone in the chat.
Beautiful.
Na zdrowie.
After I do this, Slanjava. So, Sam, with the GH5, I mean, look, Panasonic and Sony both have great XLR adapter solutions for their cameras, and nobody else does. So, would you go Beach Tech, or would you go with their XLR adapter with the GH5, Mr. Caleb Pike?
I mean, if you couldn't spend whatever it is, $200-$300 more, but at GH5, it's around the same. I think at one point I tested them, but it's just you plug it in the top and you're done.
Yeah, exactly.
But
and
I
Sony,
will say that Beach Tech, there's a couple killer features. You've got the One XLR, but then you have there's like 4 3.5 inputs on the side, or 1/8 inch, and you can do all kinds of different stuff. And there's switches on there, yeah. So you can like mix and do stereo mono combos. You can do like a Rode Wireless Go in one of those, and then have your XLR in the other.
Yeah.
And the headphone amp in that thing is phenomenal. So if you're using a camera that doesn't have a headphone jack, or you just want a nice smooth dial with a clean headphone amp, you can connect your camera's headphone out into that, and then that has a headphone jack on it.
Damn.
So they really thought of everything. And on top of all of that, for I think $30 more, you can get it with an internal battery, and it charges over USB.
That's what this version is.
So this is the Micro.
This is the Micro Pro Plus, and you can charge it over USB.
Right.
Pro Plus, and you can charge it over USB. I wish it was USB-C. It's Micro, but it is. It does a bang up job. I'm talking preamps are nice job. Whisper quiet.
I meant to mute that one.
That'll be tomorrow for Ben after that beer. Just it won't be coming from that side of the body. Okay, here we go. Everybody, first of all, just to sort of say hello. Cody has a question. Maybe we can answer that. But I'm going to say hi to some people. You see that last question. We've got David here. Pat. We've got Sam, G-Wiz, 5150, 360 grad, coming to us from Switzerland. But he's saying, good morning, Vietnam. And then we've got Bill and Oliver and Harrison and Juris, who made the live show. We got some good people. Sam, of course. And then Cody. Cody says, finally picked up a used Panasonic XLR, one adapter, got it for $203 for my S1 for shooting interviews, really liking it so far. Oh, it wasn't a question. That's good.
Sick.
Any other questions come through before we get going with the show? Oh, yeah, it is, Cody. Hey, yeah, only downside of the XLR1 so far is that I can't use the XLR and run a lav into the 3.5 on the camera as a backup. Got it. Okay. There you go. Hey, Ben.
Good point.
All right. So, we have a challenge. First one of 2021. We have Ben to thank for this, even though we have some guidelines where it can only come from one movie, but you had to pick the frame. And just to if you weren't here last week, what we basically did is we came up with an idea that we would go to ShotDeck, which Ben did live on the show in the last 15 minutes. He found a frame that is a reference frame from the movie Arrival, and we were supposed to, with people in the chat and who come here, use that as our inspiration for whatever image we were going to create for this week. And we can show more than one image if we want. We can explain why we made those choices. We do have a couple of other submissions from David Carroll, who's here in the chat, and 360 grad. So when we get to your images, I have your camera specs up, but it would be great if you type some stuff in there. My recommendation to David and to 360 grad would be, if there's anything you want to paste into the chat related to your images, just start typing that up on your notes or something like that, so you can just paste it in there for some some backup information, why you were inspired by it, because you're not here in the four-up with us, and the logo. So there you go. Harrison's having a vodka tonic with a local Charlotte vodka. Good. Not a vodka guy, but this one is great. I am a vodka person sometimes. Okay, so I do have that image again, just so we can see it. So this is the space itself. This is not the reference image that is from the movie. And then this second image is the one that Caleb had up a couple of minutes ago, which is our inspiration frame. And then this is just pulled also from ShotDeck. This is a tighter shot here on that left side of frame that you can see, I think, in the wide, which is basically over here on the left where the couch and the television are. And the thing that I really like about this first shot is it's not necessarily at the same time, but we see some establishing things, and that's what I love about movies, especially when you watch them more than once, is you start to see some visual elements that make their way into other parts or in other setups or other shots. And that's basically our inspiration station for this week. And there's no dollars and cents here. There's no gear except for if we want to mention what we took our frames with and maybe some of the settings if there's any data there that people are interested in. And Pat, hopefully you'll get to submit something in the future because I'd like to do these again. I think they definitely make me start to think a little bit differently and all that kind of stuff. How'd it work out for you, gentlemen?
Pretty good. Didn't spend a ton of time on it, but and then it was direct sunlight. Of course, after I got the shot done and it's all finished, it got nice and cloudy, which would have been ideal.
Yeah.
Gets a little more even lighting. But yeah, how about you guys?
Ben?
I had big hopes for a particular location, which then I'd not been in, but I'd been on the outside of, that I thought would fit really nicely. When I was looking at this last week, I thought, I know a place that I could do something with this. The thing that I really liked about the image, back to my sort of background doing more architectural photography, which I did for years and years and years, I like all the vertical lines and framing within the frames that are all over that image. So I went to the university in the city here where my wife works and had a wander around. And the great thing about that space at the moment is it is just empty. There is nobody there because all learning. And if you go in the afternoon, all the staff are mainly working from home. Yindra isn't at the moment, so I could go and have a wander. Had to show my vaccinated certificate thing to be able to go and walk around. And it wasn't quite what I'd hoped it would be. I was hoping that it was going to have this quite good view out the back, and it didn't quite frame up how I imagined. But I did a couple of shots there, and then I did something at home, but none of them I think had quite what I was after. So, I think I've sort of managed to get the feel of that image to an extent, but I'm not 100% happy with it at all. But
yeah,
good to think about it and to be scouting locations. It's again something I do, so it's quite a useful exercise from that front.
Yeah, I feel similar.
I really enjoyed the.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Go. No, you go. I'm ready.
Oh, I was just gonna say, regardless of the images, I haven't done something like that in a long time, where you're getting analytical about something and then trying to achieve a certain type of shot. And I think a lot of us in our work, we've done it for so long that it's like, for me making another YouTube video, I've backwards and forwards know the shots I need and how to get them. But when you're trying to get something specific that is outside of that wheelhouse, it's way more fun.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed that.
And challenging. You're down to about 3 frames per second, so you might want to pop out for a second, Caleb, and just come back in and see if it resets you. I don't know why.
Wonderful.
But let's do that, and then I'll talk about my experience a little bit. I won't show anything yet, and I'll see you in a second. I'm just going to go to a 2-shot.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think it's kind of a combination of your stuff, Ben, and also for Caleb. I wasn't super happy with the lighting, and but it was okay. Of course, I would have loved to have. Let me just get Caleb back in here. I would have loved to have shot it at golden hour or had more clouds or whatever the situation was, and I was dealing with harsher sunlight than I necessarily wanted. And then the other thing, which I thought was interesting about your comment, Ben, was that I've oftentimes had an idea about a location, which is a place that I've been to in the past, and I think this is going to be absolutely perfect, and I know exactly what I'm going to do, and I get there, and I'm really let down because it doesn't live up to what I thought it was going to be, even though I know the location. And that experience might have been, I was at that location sitting there at a restaurant with my friends or my family, or it's a place that I'd been to, and just sort of, and then it just didn't turn out. And then I have to find something else. But I think that's part of what's fun about what we do, is that, that's the exploration part of it, and the finding it and getting your mind to start firing on different cylinders than it normally does is really healthy. And even if you're not totally happy with what you wind up with, I would say in the early days, that was exactly what it was when I was doing 5 videos a week on the C47, channel with everything. It was like maybe 1 or 2 episodes a week I was really happy with, and the rest of it was just learning and then getting better at it and stuff like that. So, I enjoyed doing it, but it was something I'd like to continue. I wouldn't mind doing another challenge like this, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I think what would be great would be to have a whole day just to go and... This was kind of fitting in amongst other things as well. And the third of the shots, which I would say is closest to it, is something that I did at home this afternoon. But I'd have liked to have taken a whole day and wandered around. The other problem at the moment is not being able to get into spaces, because there's a library here, which I think also would have given a really nice twist on that image, which I will probably go and do, and we'll talk, and I'll bring it up just as some part of another episode. But you just can't get into them at the moment. They're shut. Everything's shut. It was a fairly serendipitous set of circumstances that allowed me to get into the university building. Yeah. So, but
hey, Pedro,
work with what you got.
Cool. Tommy actually came in like at the beginning of the show, practically. It's amazing. All right. So we have Philip. And we have David. I think we should bring one of them up first. Who gets to choose? Tell us who we're going to do it.
Do alphabetical then.
Huh?
Alphabetical?
Yes.
I don't know.
Which is the same thing.
But alphabetical, not with us, but we'll just do... So we'll do David first. Let's do David.
Let's do that.
Sure.
By the way, if you look at David's little... I can't believe I'm going blank here. His little image, his thing, his avatar. It's a really cool shot that he did, tabletop, which obviously is inspired by The Shining. So I don't know if you can see that in the chat, but he had sent me some behind the scenes. Maybe send that to me at some point. Maybe we'll throw him up on the
he
show.
should shoot it over right now. I can barely see it. It's so small.
Yeah, you want to send me? I don't know if I.
There we go. Command plus.
Yeah, but I've had like 40 million emails since then, David. So if you want to just email it to me fresh right now, I'll try to throw it up if I can in time, so we can see. Just do a BTS and then the actual shot itself that you have in there. But this shot that you have, let's just go ahead and take a look at your stats first. So Canon EOS R 24-105 at an f4, 800 ISO, f10, 1/5 of a second. So definitely a still image, and not trying to shoot this as if you were potentially going to be shooting something with motion, because we wouldn't normally shoot at that shutter speed. Wide end of the lens, 24 millimeter. Additional lights, aperture spotlight with a 300x bouncing off a bead board to fill the Apple boxes, which we'll see in the image. Aperture LS Mini 20C with diffusion, backlighting the rye bottle. Of course there's a rye bottle in there. So let's go ahead and take a look at the image. And here we go. And there we go. Interesting. Okay, so you got a lot of natural light coming in. It's hard to see, but frame right. So camera right side on those Apple boxes is that rye bottle there. And nice light coming in. And... it's a little bit diffused. And if you want to add anything, David, into this, that would be great. I can see where you sort of skewed the colors in here. Gentlemen, anything that you want to say? I mean, this is not a critique. It's just looking at the image and the stuff there.
He mentioned a bunch of lights. Were these just the lights in the shot, or did he have those lights lighting it?
Well, he says, and David, you can chime in, aperture spotlight with a 300x bounces off a bead board to fill the Apple boxes.
Oh, okay, right.
And then backlighting the rye bottle. So it's very diffused, For me, one of the things that's interesting is that if you look at that frame from Arrival, let's bring up that frame, or really this one right here. One of the things I think about there, and it's a really interesting movie if you haven't seen it. There's a lot going on in that space that ties back into everything towards the end of the film, and you start to tie things in. But there's sort of a loneliness here in this image. It feels, there's some similarities in terms of, I guess, the emotional feel, even though we don't have a human being inside of the frame. So I can see some inspiration there. Obviously, the space is completely different, but I definitely see that for sure.
I wish we all had a
And the
place like that crazy house.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Take
me
a photo
too.
of that view.
Yeah.
That window
Yeah.
is great. And again, with the fixture framed within the light, the way she is in that window frame in the original image, and the color, I think it's very nicely similar. Has a very similar feel.
Yeah.
And the floor. One thing I love about the shot from Arrival, which Jem just put up. You can put it back up, Jem. The
sure.
ceiling and the floor.
Yes.
My shot, I couldn't get wide enough. I didn't want to go stupid wide with my focal length to screw up, proportions.
Yeah.
But I love that. The floor, the glossy floor, the rug kind of interrupting that, and then the ceiling and the lines with all that kind of light streaming in, that soft light.
Yes.
Oh, so he's got a
Beautiful.
nice lot of floor going on, whereas I had to kind of give up on that.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely, you can see some of that inspiration in there, and I'd be interested. This is just sort of a curiosity. Yes, there is a bottle of Knob Creek in there. I'd be interested to know what direction your windows face, David, if you wouldn't mind chiming in. That'd be good to know, just out of curiosity. Cool. All right, there's the first one. It's Philip, right? 360 grad. Tell me. You got to tell me, brother. And you're going to jump in here, but let's see the stats here. They face the outside. Tommy, come on. You're killing me. Philip Stroh, a.k.a. 360 grad. Canon EOS R5 fancy pants. 14 mil. Shot at a 2.8.
Oh, snap. Oh, snap.
What lottery did you win, Mr. 360 grad? I mean, not only are you politically incorrect, you're also hanging with an R5 with a you bastard. F2.8, 6400 ISO, an 80th of a second on the shutter. So actually, we're kind of in the realm of, you could also shoot motion with those settings, right? We would normally be, maybe at the 50th or something, but you consider that stuff. We're shooting a lot of stuff right now on green screen, and we're shooting at an 80th or a 96th because of the motion blur and having issues with keying, because we're shooting so much green screen stuff with these kids, and they're constantly waving and stuff. So we're shooting it like a 1/96th of a second instead of a 48th. In order to minimize that a little bit. And they're not moving a lot. So, we're shooting 23.98, but we're just upping the shutter speed a little. 360 grad, always hustling. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at your image, sir. And here we go. By the way, your company name's down there in the bottom right there. Check out Philip's company. It's Philip, right? Hopefully I'm pronouncing it correctly, 360 grad. And your Insta account is great. You've got some beautiful images here.
It really is.
And this one is very different here. So this is interesting. I like a little bit of the Matrix nod over there on the screen. And Philip, I cropped this so that we didn't have your logo down on the bottom, just so that it would fill the frame. So creative license there, but you will notice I snuck it in over here. So I hope that's okay. Cool. Southwest, but trees and blocking for David Carroll's window thing. So we got that nice glow there. 360, you want to give us a little insight into if anything else is lighting you. It looks like there's definitely some light coming from behind you that's hitting your neck there. I don't think it's just the wrap light, but I'd like to get some stuff. Obviously, we've got Then what is it? This is my war station. Went for a location which was shut down due to Rona. So I quickly came up with this one aperture ALMC in front of me. And then is that just bouncing off of the wall behind you, and then that's giving a little fill on that side? Tell us what's going on. And gentlemen, jump right in.
I love the lamp. I don't know if you put that there on purpose or if it's there before, how it matches the one in the original frame.
It's all very Anchorman. Love lamp.
There we go.
Yep, there it is.
Nice. Yeah, and your eye goes to it, and look, he's pointing stuff out. David's coming back in there. Yeah, you've got all kinds of stuff, C47s, and you've got a Flask in there, Knob Creek. There's all little things there. IKEA lamp for our boy Philip here, and very cool. Obviously, the color's going in that direction, and that's the whole idea of this week's challenge, is that you're inspired by the image. You're not trying to duplicate the image. It would be great at some point for us to do that. I think that's a lot easier to do when you go into longer focal lengths, to be able to duplicate or try to match a shot. When you go into a wide shot like that, it's really hard because we don't all have spaces like that. It makes it more difficult. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, that looks like I think did he mention in some doc it was like 35 mil? And I can't remember what camera they used, but
I think
at any rate, that's a lot of space, a lot of windows. Really,
it
tricky
is
for most people.
It is, and of course, they scouted this location. There's just so many beautiful things going on there in terms of where she's framed, and then looking in that left side of the frame there, and that tree there, and that shape of the tree, which of course we see here in this shot. And then very clearly, when we go over here, that shape in the left side of frame over by the television,
which I realized for the first time kind of matches that whole giant, soft alien stuff, and the shape of the trees is kind of alien-esque.
Yep.
It's really fascinating.
It really is. And if you look at her in silhouette as well, and the aliens, it's not exactly the same, but there's just so many things. There's what I call, like in cooking, if you cook with certain ingredients and then you carry it through to other dishes, sometimes, that's called an echo. Sometimes you call it a thread. There's definitely threads going on.
The almonds are echoing.
They are echoing.
In the side.
It's amazing. Chris, what's happening? Oh my God, Chris, you're back.
David says the quality has dropped. Is that only on my end?
Well, I don't know what you mean by quality. If you mean the quality of the show, then I would completely agree with you on that.
That's normally like this at the halfway mark. So.
Yeah, exactly. Amazing. Yep. Actually, I just live a few meters away from a very similar looking lake, but I didn't want to break into something random. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, you didn't want to break into some random dude's apartment? Why not? Yep. Alexa, Arri Alexa XTM. There's a clarity of the image even though it's dark. I agree, Scott. And quality good on my end. Okay, Ben's feeling pretty good about the quality. Gentlemen, who's first up? I haven't seen any of your images, by the way. I purposely asked Caleb and Ben to put a blank or a cover page on their PDFs, so I haven't seen. But who's up? I mean, I don't care. It's me.
We should have the chat choose. Chat.
Okay,
vote,
chat
vote
choose.
Now.
Chat choose. Who's first of
Ben,
the three of us? Because those
go,
are the
go.
3 out of 5. Ben, Caleb, Jem. Ben, Caleb, Jem. They get all quiet now that they have to actually say something. Come on.
Wait for the stream to catch up.
All
so
right.
Alexa XT, is that okay? First one's Ben. The guy with the hair first. Wow, everyone's like Ben. So Ben it is. XTM, is that Super
Ben
35
says Bean.
or is that
Bean. Well, it's Super 35. Yeah, because the only larger format cameras they have are the 65 and also now the LF. Glasses first. Yeah, very funny. Very funny, Chris. Ha ha ha. We haven't been drinking that much, and we've been at that table before. Okay, here we go. Ready? So Ben, you're up. Are you okay for this?
Well, it appears so. Yeah.
And you can tell your story here. Let me find. Okay, here we go. So I'm going in.
All right.
I think. There we go. And we're going to go to page 2 of 4. You want to do a little bit of a setup here? You want me to go back to you? Let me go back to you, big boy. Here we go. All right, go ahead. Tell us a little bit, and then I'll go back.
So the first image, I can't remember which order I put them in. I think the first one. So the location that I thought would work really well, this university is quite modern, and it has 3 buildings which are linked with a bridge. And I thought the bridge was going to produce some nice framing. And then the old town, so the really nice part of the city, I thought would be in perfect view of this space. So I thought I could actually frame stuff up with this huge clock tower and the cathedral in that. And because I drive past it and I can sort of see that it roughly lines up, inside, totally different story. Not a particularly nice space, lots of very plasticky windows, stuff on the windows, and another building blocking the view that I thought I was going to get. So the first one was a bit of a disappointment, but I shot a frame anyway.
So should I go to that? I just
want
to say, not only are you a handsome man, and I have to say that, on the live stream, but your anti-reflective coating on your glasses is fantastic. I have to say that it's a win, and just tell your doctor he did a fantastic job on that. I don't know why I'm saying that, but here we go.
Or your perfect key placement.
Yeah, exactly.
Or both.
Well, there's always that. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. So
I'll take the credit rather than my shitty optometrist. Right, go for it.
Okay. Here we go. Here we go. Wait a second. Why is that image so small? Oh, I didn't open these yet. Well, I guess it's because it's in the PDF. Oh, whoa. Hey, now. No, come on. What's happening here? That's very cool.
So what this is, I don't know if I've never really seen this in the UK. When we bought the house, or we had the house built that I live in now, all the neighbors had these bird stickers stuck on their windows, which is what this is. And it's to stop birds killing themselves by flying into the glass. And I thought, no, it looks horrible. We're not having that. And then after like the 5th dead bird in a week, I decided, okay, we're going to do that too. So that's what those are, which I wasn't anticipating, because the way you drive past this building, it's on the other side. And you can just see the clock tower to the right of frame, which is just, it's a beautiful building, and the cathedral's kind of on top of it. But you can't frame it. It just doesn't work with what's there. So this was my first one. I didn't particularly like the location, didn't really feel it at all. But I liked the windows, and that's what I was looking for with all of this, was looking for these vertical frames. And this, again, with the architectural stuff, I'm big into all of that, and I've always loved these vertical lines, and vertical lines being properly vertical. It still hacks me off. And even in that frame from the film, they're not perfect. If you look at the vertical lines towards the edges of frame, they are slightly bowing in. And even that irks me slightly. Although I love that image, that still just pisses me off for some reason.
It makes you mad,
but anyway,
is what you're saying.
It does. Sorry.
Right, so tell us about the second image.
It makes me uneasy. So the second image is in the main concourse of one of the buildings in the university. So when we were sort of walking out, I saw this and decided that maybe there's quite a lot of nice vertical edges in this, and we could try something else, which I like that a little. Yeah,
Should
go
I do
for
it? Okay, it might be. Yeah. Oh, there we go. Oh, nice. Oh, ooh, look at those leading lines. Hey, now.
Son.
Hey, very nice.
So I prefer this image. I think it's a more interesting space. The lighting in here is quite interesting because you've got this kind of bubble, like a wing-shaped thing over the top of the building in the central concourse, which is putting light through into that central bit, but you get lots of shadows. So you get quite a lot of contrast in that space.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a weird building. It's very modern, but it's not got very much in the way of natural light, which I find odd. It has it from above.
I see it at the top. Yeah, I see it in the top. And what camera?
So that's where it's
and do
coming
you know
through.
what? I mean, you're obviously in a wider focal length, but what you want to tell us a little bit?
Yeah,
about?
so this is an EOS R6. It's Canon 1635 Mark II, which is about the softest lens on Earth, and I can't remember settings. I think I've no idea. I can't remember anything else.
Yeah, you're obviously stopped down based on I mean, you're not shooting at a 2.8. I mean, you're
It's a 16 mil lens. Everything's in.
Yeah,
it's everything's going to be. So I like that space. I like the way the light and shadow are falling off, and then in post I just tweak color a little bit to make it look something similar to the reference frame.
Yeah.
And again, I just placed the Indra in that little frame between those two vertical edges, vertical lines on those pillars coming down on the other side.
I like it.
So,
all right, tell us about number 3.
That's number 2.
Yeah, very nice.
Number 3 was being quite literal with it and just using my living room with my daughter at lunchtime today, just to see if I could get anything.
Nice.
Very nice.
Which, it's no setup, just the light coming in. There's the tree coming in the window, framed in there. But I don't think it's a particularly great image, but it was just something else to play with, being, like I say, being a little more literal. And you'll see that my delightful 10-year-old is giving me the finger, which she said after I'd taken it. She said, "Was that all right?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "Did you notice I was giving you the finger?" No.
Oh, man.
My son would do the same.
I like this a lot.
Yeah, me too. And I really like, you were talking about it earlier, Caleb, the, just the floor and what's going on is that part is definitely, I'm feeling that, in that third image. So
yeah, I think as a literal kind of copy it as closely as possible with what I have available. I think that was what I was going for with this one.
Is that a tree in the far left side of frame outside?
It is. That is a chestnut tree.
Clever.
Yeah, it's cool. I like the shape of it. And yeah, all right. Betty, nice. And from B, do we go to B to C? Or are we doing Caleb?
So.
Or is it Caleb or Jem next? I don't care. Everybody in the chat decide. I would like the chat to say where we're going with this. And by the way, let me just go into David's folder here. I'm going to create a couple of things here just so we can see this. So this is a little BTS, I think. Does this show up? Hopefully. I've never done this live here. Can everybody see that?
Oh, yeah. There it is.
Yeah. There's a little setup from David for this little shot. I'm going to do another one here. And forgive me for not, making this all purdy. There's the setup there. Look, so we got, nets
road
going
rags.
on. We got
maybe
bounce.
Not.
Wow.
Yeah, no, that's a road rag. Maybe not. No, that doesn't look like road rags.
It looks, it's not.
It's not. It's coming from the side, so it might be fast flags from Westcott or something like that. And you can see the setup there, camera side going up there. And then we'll do 2 more, and then we're gonna move on. Caleb, golden boy, people said, and Caleb. So that's 2. And then we've got one more BTS. And come on, kids. Oh, I don't know what he's got there. Boom. Now you can see the camera there coming in, and then I think we should all take a look at the final shot.
Yes,
David
please.
worked hard, and I think pretty cool. It may not center properly, but and boom, dang, nice work.
The little blood, nice touch.
Nice work, David.
Love it.
Yeah, so that I think that's cool. Very cool. Nice work. All right, definitely not a rival, but definitely shining and beautiful. So good job. All right. Keep working, David. Your skills are getting good. Very cool. I think so too. Let's look at that one more time. I think you did nice work there. Sam has the Funko. I got the Funk, but not the Funko. And Ben will have the funk after drinking that beer tomorrow morning too. But who knew? I didn't say that. Come on, super cool. Caleb, you ready for this?
Fine.
I'm getting cheeky.
I'm ready.
It's okay. You should be proud, David. Good job. Okay. Caleb's folder.
Absolutely.
Caleb, what's the setup here? Give us a little bit of data. You want to?
Okay.
You want to set up?
So, sure. Shot it in the morning. Wanted clouds, got direct sun, but I faced northwest with this particular window, so it wasn't an issue, as much of an issue. And I kind of went weird with the camera. Have a couple different options, but I shot it on the A7S, which is not a great stills camera. But I was like, well, it'll be easy to use my phone to control it.
Yeah.
It always kind of weirds me out when there's nothing wrong with taking a photo to try to emulate a film, because that's not what we're not trying to shoot a film, right? But looking at that frame, it's like you can clearly tell it's not a raw image with a high megapixel camera. So I was like, I'll just shoot on the A7S. It's got a lower 12 megapixels, and I shot it on the Tamron 28-75, which is that cheap zoom that Tamron makes for that camera, or for Sony full frame, at 28, and I didn't do anything crazy. I think I was trying to get some shallow depth of field, just a little bit in the foreground, because in that original frame, you can see the chairs just a little out. So shot it at 2.8, 28 mil. I think I did jack the shutter. I don't recall exactly, but maybe 1/100th or so.
Yep.
Low ISO, and that's about it. And it's just natural light. I brought like one little fill in. So yeah.
You ready?
Hit me.
Let's do it. Okay, here we go. Oh, cool.
Oh,
so kind of
very nice.
Kind of went for. I know we weren't the goal wasn't to replicate the actual shot.
Yep.
But one thing I kind of took this as like we all said we would, a learning experience. And one thing I've been starting to get into the last year or two is what movie, because all of us look at movies, we're like, oh my gosh, it looks so good, it looks like a movie, and then everything you shoot never looks like that ever.
Yeah.
So over the last year, starting to look into a lot of not only lighting but levels, and it's almost universal that movies are just dark.
Yeah.
Sure, there's movies that are bright, but even bright movies, grab those, throw them in your editor and pull up some scopes. And almost every time you're going to be pretty surprised at what you're going to find. Even HDR movies, there might be pops of highlights that are near 100 or whatever scale. But so this, I threw the photo in Final Cut, pulled up scopes, the original shot. And sure enough, blacks are at 6 to 8. IRE, and then it peaked at what was it? I think it was under 50 for the highlights. So really, really dark. And that is a darker shot. But you just don't think about that when you're out taking a photo or shooting. You're thinking, well, it's sky. So the sky's blown out here just because I couldn't recover that and keep the room, trying to get some exposure on stuff. Because in the original shot, there's you can see things. It's not just complete black silhouette.
Yep.
And then I couldn't get as much floor ceiling as I wanted. Just couldn't back the camera up anymore.
Yeah. But I love that you have that horizontal line at the top of the door, the double door, parallel with the top of the frame, and the same with the bottom, and the same with that door frame on the left that's also parallel with the left edge. I appreciate that immensely.
Yeah, and I we're seeing a little bit of this, little bit of that ceiling there, or the area above the frame. It may not be ceiling. I think that makes a difference in the frame, And there's a little bit of a mystery in terms of what's on the left side of frame, camera left side, and I like that. Are you?
Yeah.
Is there another image on the next page?
That's it. The next page is the original. Just to like go back and forth if we want.
Oh, great. Okay, great. Okay, cool. So you have that, and then you have that for Yeah. Okay, cool. That's awesome.
Right.
Nice.
Framing in it's fantastic. It's really good. Like that.
Yeah, I mean, what I really like is that as soon as the image comes up, there's no question. For me personally, it's just the way my eye works. Is I see all of the grip equipment, and then it just sort of like rolls right into putting my focus on you and that silhouette, which I think is great. So,
I adore that part.
And with the head framed. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah,
really good.
Very nice. Very cool. I like.
Appreciate you. Yeah, so it's amazing how many movies are just dark. In fact, after you told me about ShotDeck, I just started grabbing just frames I liked. Because even my YouTube set, I get comments all the time now that are like, dude, it's so dark. Turn on a light. But, man, I just love that lower, darker. Because if you put it on full screen, sure, if it's next to other videos on YouTube where people are using their webcams, it looks dark. But I just think, man, and sure enough, I finally like sat down and was like, you know what? And Wandering DP is the one who started me on this.
Oh yeah.
He's always talking about darker.
Yep.
And so I just went on ShotDeck and just literally grabbed any image of any movie that I just liked the lighting of and liked everything about it and pulled it in, and every single one of them was like peaking at max 60 IRE.
Yep.
Even like broad daylight, sunlight. It's crazy.
Yeah. And you look at a show like Man in the High Castle, and what's also interesting is just how not only is it dark, but maybe it's just a trend right now, but it's the idea of lifting shadows so that you can see into them, which I love. I love seeing into shadows and not just crushing all the blacks. Okay, there you go. And then there was one. I'll show you what I came up with. Again, similar to you, Ben, I had an idea for something, and it didn't pan out the way I thought. But there's a space upstairs here, which is literally above me in the house. And I thought, oh, that would be great. And I had this idea of the frame. And then when I moved the camera around, it just never sort of settled to where I thought it was in my mind. So I wound up with a totally different frame. Picture-wise, I just used the X100V, so it's a fixed 35 millimeter. I did try to emulate if I was shooting something that had motion, and I do have something with a little bit of motion in it, but it was really shot, 35. It's really a 23 millimeter lens, which is on a crop sensor camera, so it's 35 millimeter equivalent field of view. Shot at mostly at a 2.8 low ISO, but I shot with the thing that's kind of cool about this camera, which I wish they would put in a lot of other cameras like this, is there's an ND built in, which is a 1.2, so 4 stops of ND, which is in the camera. So I just put that on, and then I shot at a 48th of a second in terms of shutter speed. And this is the space. So this is up in my kitchen area. And, you know, what kind of inspired me about this frame here is kind of the solitude and the loneliness. Obviously, I don't have the scope here in terms of the wideness of the space. But I just tried to think about certain things that I was inspired about from that film. So that round table over there has been kind of usurped for the almost last year as a puzzle table, which is really kind of like people playing solitaire, right? It's just like this rotating puzzle that's always on the table, and me always being pissed off that I can't actually sit at the table and, you know, do anything there. But there's actually on the other side of that table a stack of puzzles in boxes that have, you know, they get passed around and stuff like that. And yeah, 360 grad is picking up in the foreground the fact that there's a bottle of hand sanitizer and somebody's glasses and a little mask in there. And it's just a little bit of what we've been dealing with. And I guess inspiration also in terms of those, the reflections that are on the floor. So I just started to play with that and see, what that looks like, if we started to create some frames that were based on that. So this is the same essentially time of day, but my daughter's now in the frame, and I just started to play with where she was to sort of play around with what I thought communicated well. I like that shot because her reflection is also on the left side. The spout for the sink was a pain in the ass, just sort of getting that into a place. But I think for me personally, it's, that kind of, even though your eye doesn't go to it immediately, I really like that kind of frame and the left side of the frame. And that's my little nod to Arrival, if you see her hand. Not specifically,
yeah.
You can kind of see a
Cool.
little bit of that play in there. So that's kind of the way I started going down with that. You can see again that's sort of the warm color, and then just sort of pushing it a little bit cooler, and then again, kind of looking at the original. And when I was trying to figure it out, originally, I actually didn't have Sienna there, so I just started playing around myself. And I was just setting the timer to 10 seconds and just sort of moving around the room and trying to figure out where there would be places that would be interesting for a person to be. And that was pretty easy.
Mannequins out.
Shut up. You a-hole. And then just sort of, and then seeing what it, even though I actually don't like the color of this as much, but just sort of seeing what it would feel like if there was some motion in there, and putting that into place, and just sort of seeing what that would be like if somebody landed on that frame and where they were. And that's what I came up with. So, it's not obviously a duplicate of what that is, but it's, I think, definitely inspired by it. But it's, that's what I got.
Very cool.
There you go.
Very
like
nice.
it.
And
you
there
got the closest thing to the view too. Gee whiz.
Yeah.
Mountains in the distance.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, no lake, that's for sure. She's allowed to drink wine. She's almost 21, and it's legal for anybody age of 16 or above if they have their parents. I can't give wine to another kid. 360 grad, of course, is the one asking that question. Nobody who's 20 years old has ever had a glass of wine or a beer, ever, I'm sure. But it is actually legal. So, gee whiz, I would love to hear more about your comment. Interesting how we consume images differently. The theme that I get most from Arrival was a self-isolation from surrounding worlds. Yeah. I think we see that in all of the images we've seen, in some form or another. I kind of went a literal route that I almost regret in my image with the foreground thing, with the hand sanitizer and the mask and stuff, but I just kind of went with it. But
can I ask a slightly non-related to the image, but more on your kitchen question?
Yes.
Why have you got three? How come there are three taps?
So it's an American thing.
Yeah, so this is water. The middle one here is actually soap. And then the one on the right, which I've never had in my life, is actually hooked up underneath the sink to hot water. So it's basically boiling water. So if I want to make a cup of tea or something, or I want to just start something boiling almost immediately, it comes out at almost boiling temperature. And it was there when we got the house. I mean, I didn't put it in.
Those are awesome.
Okay.
They are amazing. That's the answer to your question, Ben.
Or you're about to do pasta, and if it's a filtered
that's
one
what I
of
mean.
those,
Yes,
you literally turn it on,
nice.
and within seconds you've got boiling pasta.
Yeah, you literally fill the pot with the hot boiling water. You put it on the stove with a top on it, and a minute later you're dropping pasta into the water. And if you want a cup of tea, it's,
Nice.
you just go, you put a tea bag in there, boom, you're done, and then wait 3 to 5 minutes, not 30 seconds, and then you drink your tea. So we won't have that conversation, even though I just did. Yeah, hot water spigot. You got to get one, Ben. Life changer.
Nice.
Amazing.
Nice.
Yeah. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Well, we did it, boys and girls. We did a challenge. It happened.
Yeah.
For the first time in what feels like a year.
I know, it feels forever. I mean,
honestly, I've 7 months, a year.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And this was nice to do something not a gear challenge. This was good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed this more. I mean, I like doing gear challenges, but to me, this got me out. It got me thinking, taking some time, setting up a camera. And not everybody has to like the frames, but, that's what we came up with. And there you go. It's not boiling water, 360 grad. Don't get yourself all worked up. It's hot. Hot like you, okay? You can have a nice cup of tea, but you're not boiling. It's right where it needs to be. And there's a dial underneath that sink so you can make it hotter or cooler, not cold. Yeah. And thank you to David and Philip for their submissions. We want to see more of that.
Yes, thank you, gents.
And can we have more of this challenge, please? Yes, we can. It won't be next week. Party on Jem's balcony. It has happened before, Chris, I will say. And it may happen again. There's a pizza oven, and I just got... You know what I got? I know we have to end. I got a flat top grill that runs on propane. I love flat tops, like diner style. So smash burgers are coming. Proper, like 22-inch, and I seasoned it up today.
Not a skillet, a griddle.
Yes, a griddle. It is.
Like
it's a flat top griddle. Yes, and here we go. Coming in at the end. Come on.
Boom.
Gee whiz, 5150 coming in. We got some Australian $14.99 from Gee Whiz 5150. Nice film, nerd time. Thanks. And you're welcome. Thanks for coming. Ben enjoyed the submissions. Definitely going to try and participate next time, Cody. You know what? You just got to do it. And you got to just... Yeah, I could do hibachi on there too, David. I got to get my skills going, though, with the volcano. I got to do a volcano onion is what's going to happen. It's a Blackstone griddle. Just go to Amazon. $168 US. It's amazing what you can get nowadays. It's beautiful. I love you guys.
And gents, just quickly before we go, I also realized this week, because it keeps coming up on social media, and what you were doing 2 years ago. And 2 years ago, I think we were at NAB. And
Shake Shack? Is that what you're saying?
No, I was. The whole plan was that we were going to do NAB, and then I was going to come and hang out at yours last year. And then
you're welcome.
Yeah.
You're welcome anytime. You get on an airplane, the door is always open, Ben. So you know that.
So let's everything crossed for October that we can maybe make that happen.
Hey, I'm driving. I'm driving. I'm going to meet up with Caleb halfway. We're going to meet up in Bozeman, Montana, and we're going to drive down together. You should meet us there. See what the flights are to Bozeman. My daughter might go to college there, my second one, so we'll see. Might be fun.
I'll fly to Chicago. You can pick me up with Caleb.
Hell no.
Yeah.
Come on. We'll meet somewhere else.
All right. That'd be great.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Let's try to do that. That'd be really good fun.
And thank you to everybody in the chat. Thanks for everybody coming every week. I think we'll do another one of these challenges in a couple of weeks. Next week, I think we should just sort of do a little update on the state of the industry. There's definitely been some equipment that's been released over the last few weeks. And we'll take a look at Cine D and New Shooter and see what's out there. Again,
new drone tomorrow from DJI.
What'd you say? Oh, yeah. Oh, is that tomorrow?
New drone from DJI tomorrow, and the R3 kind of announced from Canon.
Right.
Lots to talk about.
Good. All right. We'll talk about it next week. You guys are awesome. 3 o'clock Pacific time next week. Wednesday. And thank you for everything. Caleb, Ben, awesome, as always. And I cannot wait for Lotus of Siam. I've just got to say that. I'm going to... those shrimpies, those big prawns, garlic prawns, and all the good stuff. the short rib with that creamy, with the noodles and the deliciousness. I love
killing
food.
me. I gotta wait for dinner here.
I'm gonna go make a spatchcock chicken, which is really just butterfly chicken. There you go. Ben,
Yum.
Chris, Film Kit, everybody.
Thank you all for joining us.
See ya.
Bye.
Night all.
Bye.